Second straight night for baseball with the Berries here at Next Gen Patch at JF Cairns Field in Saskatoon. It is the Saskatoon Berries starting a two-game series with the Fort McMurray Giants. Good evening, Les Lazaruk with you as we get ready for the fifth game of the season for the Berries. They come in with a record of 3 wins, 1 loss, having won their last 3 games. They're in second place in the Western Canadian Baseball League's East Division and have won their first 2 home games. This will be the third straight at home, and then there will be another one tomorrow night here against Fort McMurray. Fort McMurray is 0-3, so we're told, although if you look at the WCBL website, they are listed as being 0-0, and this would be their first game of the year. But apparently, they played 3 games over the weekend against Sylvan Lake in Fort McMurray, lost all 3. Sylvan Lake is not 1-0 according to the league standings. They're 4-0, so 0-3 for the Fort McMurray Giants, 3-1 for the Saskatoon Berries as we get set for first pitch here momentarily. It'll be for the Saskatoon Berries on the mound tonight, their 16th different pitcher that they've already used in this their 5th game. Diego Quinones is going to be the starting pitcher tonight. And the umpire has already got an issue with Quinones with something he's got on his wrist. And it's not the umpire, it's the Giants trying to play a little mind games with him. So Diego Quinones, he'll face left-handed hitting Elijah Olebal. And there's the first pitch. It is outside, ball 1, and that first pitch coming at 7:01 on Tuesday evening. Nice night here for baseball. Quinones is down and in, 2-0 quickly. Diego Quinones on the hill for the Berries. 2-0 pitch is in for a strike on the inside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike to the first batter. Love to be able to tell you stats for the batter Olebal, but again, league website doesn't even have them playing a game, so as a result, we're not able to give you any kind of background as far as statistical background for the player. That ball is down low, 3-1. 3-1 the count now on Olebal. We can tell you he's a freshman, played his freshman year out of the University of Fraser Valley in BC. And that one's up high and a walk to start the ball game as the Giants get the leadoff man on. Diego Quinones is from La Cruces, New Mexico, coming off his senior year at Weber International University, where he pitched 16 innings this past winter over 7 games. His first pitch to the number 2 hitter, right-handed hitting Darcy Berry, the shortstop, is in for a strike. Runner on first is Olebal. This one's hit high in the air into left field, drifting back a bit, and now settling under it. The wind has got it. Catch made by Turner Zadunik. He would have to reach out to his side in order to catch it. There's a pretty good wind out there. We'll give you the weather conditions as we have them here in Saskatoon on this evening. 17 degrees under what they're calling mainly sunny skies out at the airport. North-northwest wind 33, gusting to 44 kilometers an hour. So that means it's blowing out to right field. And you can see the flags on top of the scoreboard in right center flapping vigorously out there. As Quinones with a toss over to check on Elijah Cook. Sorry, Cook is the batter here, is left-handed hitting center fielder. And first pitch is outside, ball 1. One-0 pitch upcoming from Quinones. And a toss over to first to check on Elijah Olebal. One away, just underway here at Next Gen Patch at JF Cairns Field. 1-0 pitch. Swung on, lifted in the air, down the left field line, running over to try and get it, and unable to snare it is the third baseman for the Berries. That is the newcomer, Mason Rowell, who just arrived in the last 24 hours to Saskatoon and in the lineup tonight out of Indiana State University, where he was a teammate of Carter Beck, who will be here tomorrow night and likely in the Berries lineup. But Rowell, a freshman out of West Bend, Wisconsin, unable to squeeze that pop-up in the wind, and it's a 1-1 count. Quinonez at the belt, ready to deliver. Outside. Ball 2. 2-1. Cleanup hitter Matt Rhodes, the first baseman on deck for Fort McMurray. Now a quick toss over to first. And diving back in safely is Elijah Olebal, the left fielder for the Giants, who drew a leadoff walk. Two-one pitch upcoming. Up high, 3-1. Quinonez is trying to come to grips with his control. Half of his pitches so far have been balls. He'd like to be able to find the strike zone a little more regularly. He has to come in here. This one is hit into the air to left field. Coming over towards the line is Zadunik. He'll dive and can't squeeze it. Runners will advance 90 feet. Olebal to second base. And Cook on first with what I would have to believe would be an error to the left fielder, Turner Zadunik, although just the idea of the wind being up there the way it is, giving them all kinds of problems up there. Anything in the air tonight might be an adventure. So first and second with one away, as Balin Sorensen, the catcher, out to talk things over with Diego Quinonez. Matt Rhodes, the first baseman, coming up. Left-hand hitting first baseman. Rhodes, 6'5", 195 pounds, out of Concordia University. First pitch, Sorensen able to backhand it. Look behind him. May have been trying to deke the base runners into thinking that the ball had gotten by him, but they weren't buying that. 1-0 pitch upcoming. In there for strike one. Quinonez, 5'10", 190 pound right-hander out of La Cruces, New Mexico. 1-1 pitch bounces away from Balin Sorensen. He'll have to track it down on the backstop as the runners move up 90 feet. And now you got him at second and third. A 2-1 count with one away. So now Quinonez trying to wiggle his way out of this jam. Right in the top of the first inning. Of course, last night, Swift Current scored a run in the top of the first. Bouncing ball to the right side. Berries will sacrifice a run to get it out, and they'll do so on the ground ball to the second baseman, Cooper Westland. Rhodes is retired. There's two away. And a run scores to make it 1-0. Elijah Cook advances down to third base. RBI ground out for Matt Rhodes. It brings up the designated hitter, Solomon Harwood. Harwood, a right-handed hitter. Connor State Community College. This one high in the air and foul into the batting cage down the right field line. 1 strike on Harwood. Solomon Harwood, 5'10", 195-pound, right-handed hitter. Diego Quinonez. That one's fouled back to the screen and quickly up 2 strikes on Harwood. Quinonez 1 strike away from getting out of the inning with minimal damage. Two-strike count. It's fouled back to the screen. Just got a piece of that one. Pretty good heat displayed there by Quinonez. Good, solid, good, lively fastball. Two-strike pitch. Check swing. They're going to appeal. No, says the first base umpire, Logan Nugent. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Home plate umpire is the crew chief, Scott Mills. Logan Nugent is the umpire down the first base line, and down the third base line is Scott Mostaway. 1-2 delivery. Fouled off again over top of the first base bleachers. Harwood is giving Quinonez a battle. Ready to deliver the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And indeed, Diego Quinonez able to get out of the top of the first inning with minimal damage. A little bit of a shaky start. No hits, 1 run for Fort McMurray in the top of the first inning, and they leave a runner on base. The Berries committed 1 error. After a half an inning, just like last night here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field, the visitors score a run in the top of the first inning. Tonight it's Fort McMurray up 1-0 on the Saskatoon Berries as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Back at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field in Saskatoon. The Berries about to come up to bat for the first time, and they'll face a right-handed pitcher on the mound for the Fort McMurray Giants in Wyatt Culbertson. Wyatt Culbertson is from Reno, Nevada, coming off his sophomore year at Lassen Community College, 6'4", 205 pounds. The Berries will send up Jamal Freeman, the center fielder, Nathan Houston, the shortstop, and Ethan Murdoch, the right fielder, to face him. Berries last night, after giving up a run in the top of the first inning to Swift Current, scored 3 times in the bottom of the first on their way to a 9-4 win. Giants in the all black with some orange thrown in there. I like the simplicity of the jersey. Berries in their white with purple. As here comes left-handed hitting Jamal Freeman to start things off for Saskatoon. 4 for 16 to start the year. 2 runs batted in. .250 average. First pitch, upstairs and outside, ball 1. Freeman from Houston, Texas. 1-0 pitch. Fouled back. 1-1. Freeman finished his senior year at Eastern New Mexico University. Swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch up high in the zone, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Swung on and grounded out to second. Fielded cleanly out there by Miles Murphy. He'll throw on to the first baseman, Matt Rhodes, and Jalen Freeman is retired. 1 away. We'll bring up Nathan Houston. Houston off to a good start. He's 5 for 16. A .313 batting average. Right-handed hitting shortstop who takes a strike. Houston's been hit by a pitch twice already in just 4 games as he swings and misses at an 0-1 count and 0-2 on the Melville, Saskatchewan product. 6 foot, 165-pound shortstop. 2-strike delivery. Line drive, and that'll be caught just off the shoe tops by the shortstop, Darcy Berry. Quickly, there's 2 away. So now the right fielder, Ethan Murdoch, who had one of the 2 home runs for the Berries last night. His came in the bottom of the first inning. Gave the Berries a lead they would not relinquish the rest of the night. Looks at the first pitch from Culbertson up high, ball 1. Murdoch from Swift Current. Outside, ball 2. Well-spoken young man. Had a chance to chat with Ethan Murdoch last night. Mentioned to him about being in the baseball program at Marshall University as he laces a base hit. Line drive, 1 hop to the left fielder, but a solid single for Ethan Murdoch. So the Berries have their first hit of the game and their first base runner. And now Balin Sorensen, the catcher, will come up. Balin would like to get going, I know for sure. Out of Monroe, Louisiana. Hitting 143 or 2 for 14 so far. Again, in his second year with the Berries. Hit 244 last season. Looks at the first pitch inside, ball 1. Sorensen, 6'2", 220 pounds. Coming off his senior year at Southern Louisiana University. Off to second. Oh, Murdoch stopped. Now the throw down. He gets back safely. He started to go, and then when there was no contact, he had to scramble back to first base and dive in. And probably the saving grace for him on the throw down from the catcher was that he slid to the outfield side of the first base bag and reached over with his hand to catch the bag ahead of the tag. As Sorensen fouls a pitch off at the plate, and it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cooper Westland is on deck. He's playing second base tonight after playing the first 4 games at third. One, 2 from Culbertson. Murdoch taking off. Pitches outside. The throw down. Not in time. Straight steal for Ethan Murdoch. And for the Berries, that's already their 15th stolen base as a team, as they're into Game 5 of the year. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count on Balin Sorensen. A chance to drive home an equalizing run as Culbertson delivers down low. Good block by the Fort McMurray catcher Nick Save. So now a full count to Sorensen. Lots of room to the right side of the infield as Sorensen squibs it foul. Stays alive. Second baseman Miles Murphy was staying close to second base, and he's going to move back over that way again. There's a lot of room between the first baseman and the second baseman to the right side of the infield if you want to put one through. Sorensen pulls one foul wide of third base and stays alive at a full count of 3-2. She's a windy one again tonight here in Saskatoon. Gusting upwards of 44 kilometers an hour out of the north-northwest. Swing and a miss on a slow curveball, and that's the end of the rally for the Saskatoon Berries as they get one hit, no runs though, one runner left on base, and there were no errors by the Fort McMurray Giants. After one complete at Next Gen Patch in Cairns Field in Saskatoon, it is Fort McMurray 1, Saskatoon no score. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Top of the second inning upcoming here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. 1-0 Fort McMurray with the lead. They'll send up their catcher, Nick Save. Third baseman, Carter Hercoon. And second baseman, Miles Murphy, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in their order for tonight. Quinonez with long sleeves and a bunny hug as he gets set to deliver here after a 22-pitch top of the first inning. You can understand that when you're from La Cruces, New Mexico, you get 17-degree evening and winds at 44 kilometers an hour. It doesn't feel like 17. There's a little bit of bite to a north-northwest wind. Probably feels more like 15 or 59. You're not used to 59 for the beginning of June, I'm sure, but his first pitch is in there for a strike. You have to dig through it, young man. Dig through it. See how things go for him here in the second inning. Popped up in the air towards first baseman Corey Waters. He'll give way to the second baseman Cooper Westland. He'll make the catch, and there's one away. So it'll be Carter Hercoon, the third baseman, coming up. Hercoon out of the University of Toronto. Right-handed hitter, 6'3", 190 pounds. First pitch to him is inside, ball one. Quinonez ready to go again. This one on the ground towards Westland. Goes to his knees to make the stab and then throws to the out. Quickly 2 away on just 4 pitches. And the second baseman, Miles Murphy, now coming up. Murphy out of Embry-Riddle University. 5'9", 175-pound right-handed hitter. Again, I'd love to be able to tell you more about their season has been so far through 3 games, but we just don't have that information on the website. I even tried other ways of getting information, and just not available. 1-0 pitch down low, 2-0 to Murphy. Hopefully that's rectified before tomorrow night, because it would sure be nice and handy to be able to tell you more about these guys with the Fort McMurray Giants. As Murphy fouls it off towards the Berries dugout, 2 balls, 1 strike. Down low, 3-1. And here comes Quinonez again to Miles Murphy. This one is hit. Back's whistling up a bit, but he fields it off the 1 hop, throws him out, and it's a 1-2-3. Top of the 2nd inning. No runs, no hits, no Berries errors, nobody left on base. After an inning and a half, it's 1-0 for the Fort McMurray Giants over the Saskatoon Berries. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Wyatt Culbertson back on the mound for Fort McMurray as expected. Went through the first inning with 18 pitches. Did not allow a run to the Saskatoon Berries on 1 hit. He'll face the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the Berries order. Second baseman Cooper Westland. First baseman Corey Waters, and newcomer third baseman Mason Roel due up here this inning. Westland, the Berries' early season leader in batting average at .412. He's 7 hits and 17 at-bats. 2 runs batted in for the now second baseman tonight. He's played third in each of the first 4 games out of Lincoln, Nebraska. First pitch swinging in the air to left field, center field. Moving over the center fielder, the ball being drifted towards him, and he'll make the catch. Elijah Cook coming over to make that grab as that ball hung up in the wind and was able to be caught. So 1 away. Corey Waters now to the plate. Waters off to a good start this year. .389, 7 hits and 18 at bats, I should say. Curveball stays inside, ball 1. Waters hit a home run last night. 2-run homer in the bottom of the 5th inning. That's a breaking pitch outside, 2-0. Waters leads the Berries early in the season with 6 runs batted in. He takes a hack at that pitch and misses. 2-1. One of the many Saskatoonians and Saskatchewan products on the team. Line drive down the third base line. That is foul. Evens the count at 2-2. 2-2 pitch squibbed out in front of the mound towards first base. The pitcher will get it and underhand flip it. Actually, are they calling that a foul ball? Looks like they are. So Waters will get a reprieve, as they call that foul. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 away here in the bottom of the second inning. On the main roster for the Berries, I see 7 players from Saskatoon and another 6 from elsewhere in the province as he lines a base hit into left center field, cut off by the center fielder Elijah Cook and returned into the infield, restricting Waters to a base hit. Mason Rowell. It's his first Western Canadian Baseball League at-bat, newcomer to the team. A teammate of Carter Beck's at Indiana State University this past winter. Rowell from West Bend, Wisconsin. First pitch up high, ball 1. Culbertson looks in. A curveball, a good block by the catcher to prevent that from getting away. 2 balls, no strikes. Rowell coming off his freshman year at Indiana State. 2-0 pitch is in for a strike. 2-1. Mason Rowell at 6'2", 210 pounds. Right-handed hitter. Facing right-handed pitcher Wyatt Culbertson for the Fort McMurray Giants. 2-1 pitch swung on and missed. Strike 2. Rowell went for the downs there. Big cut. Trying to hit one out. Already wearing protection on his right shin and instep. Probably from back in the winter season. That 2-2 pitch up high and in, and a full count. Waters not venturing too far off the first base bag. I don't expect him to be going with the pitch. He doesn't. This one shot in behind him and past the first baseman into right field. Waters makes the turnaround second. Now Mason Rowell heading for second base. He's dead to rights there. Tries to swim around the tag. Can't do so. Rowell trying to make something happen on the base paths and is thrown out. The right fielder to the second baseman. But Waters does get to third base, but now 2 away for the Berries. That'll bring up the left fielder, Turner Zadunik. Left-handed hitting Zadunik has just the 1 hit so far this year in 15 at-bats. Was able to squeeze home a run last night in the 9-4 win over Swift Current with a bunt. Looks at the first pitch outside, ball 1. Zadunik would like to get a second RBI if he could here. In for a strike, 1-1. DH Cam Marshak is on deck, the number 9 hitter for the Berries. Culbertson. This one's lined, but stabbed just at the edge of the outfield grass. Nice play by the second baseman to throw him out, as Miles Murphy with a nice play there to turn out the third out on the Saskatoon Berries. 2 hits, no runs though for the Berries. 1 runner left on base. No Fort McMurray errors, and after 2 innings complete, it is still the Fort McMurray Giants 1 and the Saskatoon Berries no scores. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Yeah. Oh well. Back for the top of the third inning at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. It'll be the Fort McMurray Giants. Coming to the plate. Number 9 hitter Connor Rainey, the right fielder, will be first up against Diego Quinones, I should say. Then back to the top of the order for the second time around for Elijah Olebal and Darcy Berry, the left fielder and shortstop respectively. Quinones, his first pitch of the half inning, is swung on and missed, strike one. Pretty decent crowd again here tonight at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. Down low, just low, ball one. 1-1. Home plate umpire Scott Mills, veteran umpire, crew chief here with this three-man crew for tonight. On the inside corner at the knees, 1-2. Quinones had a very efficient 1-2-3 second inning. 9 pitches only. This time, this one's lifted foul out of play as Connor Rainey stays alive with a 1-2 count. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike three. Second strikeout of the outing for Diego Quinones. One away here in the top of the third inning, and up comes the left fielder Elijah Olebal. Walked and scored the only run of the game thus far back in the top of the first inning. Left-handed hitter. Looks at a strike. Quinones seems to be finding his rhythm here right now. Olebal, 5'8", 185 pounds, as that pitch clipped him, and he's on his way to first base. So a hit batsman gives Fort McMurray a base runner. And Darcy Berry, the shortstop, coming up. Berry flew out to left field his first time up. Right hand hitting shortstop. Out of Adelaide, South Australia. First pitch inside, ball one. Darcy Berry coming off his sophomore year at Dakota State University. 1-0 pitches. Quinones holds the ball a little longer and then puts one in low, ball two. Olebal. Leadoff man, you'd have to assume, has pretty good speed. Threat to steal in all likelihood. He's got a decent-sized lead at first base as well, and there he takes off. 2-0 pitch swung on and tamed foul wide of third base. Olebal will have to go back to first as the count's 2-1 on Darcy Berry, the Fort McMurray shortstop. Quinones again has a look over at first, delivers, and down the middle for strike two. Center fielder Elijah Cook is on deck. Quinones shakes off a sign from Bale and Sorensen. Now ready to go with the 2-2 pitch. And just misses. That looked close. But it's a full count. 1 away, a full count. Let's see if the Fort McMurray coaching staff sends the runner from first base, Ole ball, with good speed. They do. Fouled back into the screen, and he'll have to go back to first base again as the count remains full at 3-2. Ole ball's getting his wind sprints in. He's had a couple already. Forced to go back to first base because of fouls. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes off again with the pitch from Diego Quinonez here with 1 away. There he goes, and the ball gets away from Sorensen to the backstop, but comes right back to him practically. But it's a ball and a walk, and 2 men on base with 1 away now for Fort McMurray in the top of the 3rd inning. And here comes center fielder Elijah Cook, left-handed hitting center fielder, who reached on an error when Turner Zadunik in left field couldn't hold fly ball down the left field line. It was twisting around in the wind and giving him no end of troubles. First pitch to Cook is on the inside corner, strike 1. Ole ball at second, Darcy Berry at first. Fort McMurray with 2 men on, 1 out. Trying to keep Ole ball close at third. Swing and a miss, strike 2. As Cook took a good, healthy cut at a pitch just on the outside corner. Quinonez has a good advantage here for himself now with the number 3 hitter for the Fort McMurray Giants. Chance to put him away right now. 2-strike pitch. Swung on and missed. Foul tip, they say. Strike 3 as Sorensen able to hold on, and that's 2 strikeouts in the inning. 3 for the game for Quinonez, and 2 away. 2 men on, 2 out. First baseman Matt Rhodes, who grounded out to second his first time up in the top of the 1st inning. Quinonez ready to go with his first pitch. And a called strike. Last night, Joe Carnahan had the starting pitcher Robert Bonilla on a pitch count. Curious to know if that's going to be the same tonight for Quinonez, as this one's hit well to center field. Jalen Freeman ranges back. He'll make the catch right at the lip of the warning track, and that ends the inning. Well hit ball by Matt Rhodes, but Jalen Freeman able to track it down. No runs for Fort McMurray in the top of the 3rd inning. No hits. There were no Barry's errors, and 2 runners left on base. We played 2.5 innings here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. 1-0 Fort McMurray with the lead as you're watching Barry's baseball on FloCollege. Saskatoon Berries will come up in the bottom of the third inning with their number 9 hitter Cam Marshak, and then the top of the order for Jalen Freeman at center field, and the shortstop Nathan Houston to face Wyatt Culbertson, who's thrown 34 pitches unofficially through the first 2 innings. I asked last half inning about a possible pitch count for tonight's Berries starting pitcher, Diego Quinonez. He's thrown 50 through 3 innings. And already we're seeing action down the right field line as Jerome Lessard is warming up down the right field line for the Berries. Culbertson's first pitch to Cam Marshak is outside, ball 1. Marshak, 2 hits in 15 at-bats, hitting .133. Is the DH and looks at a pitch up high, a breaking pitch that stayed up, 2-0. Cued off foul. 2 balls and a strike on Marshak. Cam Marshak out of Bruno, Saskatchewan. 2-1 pitch. This one is a little flare into center field. That will drop in front of the center fielder Elijah Cook. And a base hit. A little bit of a humpback liner there off the bat of Cam Marshak, who's on first base to lead off the third inning. Jalen Freeman, center fielder, coming up now for the Berries. Freeman grounded to second his first time up. Marshak with a good-sized lead off of first. Freeman hits one up the middle, through, and base hit. Marshak turns second. He's heading for third. Here comes the throw. It's going to get all the way through. It'll go off of Marshak, and now Freeman will take second base on the throw as it's skipped on by the third base bag and backed up by the pitcher Culbertson. Well, the Berries have themselves a bit of a rally going here. Good base running by Marshak. He was able to dive into the bag, and the throw almost arrived at the same time as his body did and clipped him in the legs and got past the third baseman, allowing Jalen Freeman to advance to second base. And I'm not sure, I wouldn't be surprised if we're handing out an error possibly there to allow Freeman to advance to second, or is he just taking the base based on the throw? All right. First pitch swinging up the middle by Nathan Houston. Throw on to first in time, but Cam Marshak scores and Jalen Freeman on to third, and we have a tie ball game at 1-1. So an RBI ground out for Nathan Houston. First pitch swinging against Wyatt Culbertson. That's an RBI for Marshak, or for Houston. His first of the season. Marshak scores, and Freeman down to third. Brings up Ethan Murdoch. And the first pitch to Murdoch upstairs for ball 1. One-0 pitch. Sails outside. Breaking pitch outside, 2-0. Two-0 pitch. Murdoch puts it in the air, but this one's a pop-up just into the short outfield, caught by the shortstop Darcy Berry, and Freeman has to hold at third, so there's 2 away. And Balin Sorensen, the catcher, now coming up. Sorensen struck out in the first inning, his first time up. We're tied up at 1-1 here in the bottom of the third inning. Sorensen, check swing. They'll appeal at first. And they say no swing. So ball 1 to Balin Sorensen. Wyatt Culbertson with a slow curve there. Now comes back with something a little bit more with velocity, and it's grounded to third, and in time the throw to get Balin Sorensen at first base. A good play by the third baseman, Carter Hercoon, to field the ball and throw him out, and the Berries are done with the bottom of the third inning. But they get on the board with their first run of the night on 2 hits. There were no Fort McMurray errors, and 1 runner left on base. And after 3 innings complete, tied up at 1-1 here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Yeah. Yeah. As suspected, we do have a pitching change as the pitch count for the starting pitcher tonight, Diego Quinonez, has been reached. He threw 50 pitches over the first 3 innings tonight. As we head to the top of the 4th, and the new pitcher for the Berries is Jerome Lessard out of Saint-Joseph-du-Lac in Quebec, coming off his freshman year at Southwest Tennessee Community College. And for Lessard, this is his first appearance as a pitcher for the Berries. So make him the 17th different pitcher to see action for head coach Joe Carnahan. As the total so far through 3 complete for Fort McMurray, 1 run, no hits. They haven't committed an error, and they've left 3 runners on base. The Berries have a run on 5 hits. They've committed 1 error, and they've left 3 runners on base. Jerome Lessard will face hitters 5, 6, and 7 in the Fort McMurray lineup here to start the top of the 4th inning. Solomon Harwood, I should say, the designated hitter, will be the batter. He struck out back in the 1st inning. Lessard, a right-hander. And a first pitch strike. Harwood does some catching for Fort McMurray as he looks at a pitch on the inside. Ball 1. Out of Connors State Community College. Jerome Lessard with the 1-1 pitch. That's high. Ball 2, 2-1. One the score here in the top of the 4th inning. Saskatoon Berries and the Fort McMurray Giants. Fort Mac didn't visit this ballpark last year. There's a 1-hopper fielded by Westland. Long throw picked out by Corey Waters, and a nice play. Westland had to give ground on that sharply hit ball that skipped on the infield dirt and was able to take it backhanded and throw on to first to retire Harwood for the first out in the top of the 4th inning. So now it's the catcher, Nick Savi. Popped out to second his first time up. Looks at the ball down low. Save out of Okanagan College. 5'10", 180 pounds. Breaking pitch in for a strike, 1-1. Carter Hercoon, the third baseman, is on deck. One pitch, down low, 2-1. Lessard pitches from out of the stretch all the time, even without runners on base. This one hit down the left field line, but that is hooking foul over top of the left field Fort McMurray bullpen. Count even at 2-2. Slow curveball gets away from Sorensen and able to make his way to first base is the batter Save. So it's a strikeout, but he gets to first base on the wild pitch. They're going to call that a pass ball on Balin Sorensen, allowing Save to get to first base. So one away, and a runner on first, and Carter Hercoon is at the plate. First pitch swinging, strike one. Hercoon grounded out to second his first time up, back in the second inning. We're in the top of the fourth now. Line shot, backhanded by shortstop Houston to second for one. On the first, and unable to come up with it is Corey Waters. The ball will stay in play, and making his way to second base is Carter Hercoon. And so the double play attempt just doesn't quite work out for the Berries. The fielder's choice, and then a throwing error on the second baseman, Cooper Westland, to get Hercoon down to second base. That's the second error of the night for the Berries, as Miles Murphy, the second baseman, comes to the plate with a runner on second in a 1-1 tie. First pitch fouled back, strike one. Murphy grounded out to second his first time up, back in the second inning. Jerome Lessard, 6'4", 185 pounds. Second Berries pitcher tonight. Slow curve bounces in, blocked by Sorensen. Ball one, 1-1. Lessard at the belt, looks back at second. 1-1 pitch, hit back up the middle and through for a base hit. Turning third and heading for home is Carter Hercoon, as Freeman bobbles the ball in center field, but he wasn't going to get Hercoon, who scores to make it 2-1, as that is the first hit of the night for the Fort McMurray Giants. They go up 2-1 on the single by Miles Murphy. So it's 2-1 now for the Fort McMurray Giants. 2 away, runner on first, and the number 9 hitter Connor Rainey, who struck out his first time up. Fouled off, strike one. One strike on right fielder Connor Rainey. Runner is going. The throw down by Sorensen, and he'll be in there safely as the tag applied up high, and the slide by Murphy got him in under the tag. Stolen base. A ball on the pitch. 1-1 the count on Connor Rainey. Runner in scoring position again for Fort McMurray as they look to add on. On the ground towards short. Nathan Houston with it. The throw on to first is in time, just in time. Good speed down the line by Connor Rainey, but Houston's throw gets him by a whisker, and that ends the top of the fourth inning. But a go-ahead run for the Fort McMurray Giants in the top of the fourth as they get a run on one hit with one Saskatoon Berries error and one runner left on base. Through 3.5 innings here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field, it is Fort McMurray 2 and Saskatoon 1. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Well, just like the Saskatoon Berries in the top of the fourth inning, the Fort McMurray Giants will have a pitching change in the bottom of the fourth as they send out their second pitcher of the night. It'll be Winston Roberts, a left-hander out of Walla Walla Community College. He'll take over from the starter Wyatt Culbertson, who went 3 innings. And he'll face Cooper Westland, Corey Waters, and Mason Rowell here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Westland flew out to center field his first time up back in the second inning. First pitch from Roberts. Westland showed bunt and takes a strike. Winston Roberts ready to go again. This one's on the ground towards the shortstop, Darcy Berry. Fields it cleanly and throws across in time to first base for the first out. Just after 8 o'clock here on a Tuesday evening. Temperature staying steady at 17 degrees. Winds out of the north-northwest, gusting upwards of 42 kilometers per hour. Flags flapping. Corey Waters at the plate. He singled his first time up. Looks at a first pitch down low for a ball. Waters with 8 hits already this year. Looks at a strike, ball 1, or strike 1, 1-1. Swing and a miss, Waters at a pitch down the middle, 1-2 the count. Waters, one of 7 kids from Saskatoon on the team. This one's on the ground. Backhanded it short by Barry. Long throw, but he'll make it. Darcy Barry, a very good shortstop for the Fort McMurray Giants. Strong arm. That one from out of the hole at shortstop. So now Mason Rowell up with 2 away. Rowell singled his first time up and then got thrown out trying to turn it into a double back in the second inning. Swings and tips it into the catcher's glove for strike 1. Up high and away, ball 1. Coming into tonight, the Berries as a team were hitting .252. They have 5 hits already in this game. .252 is 9th best out of the 12 teams in the league. Swing and a miss by Rowell. Breaking pitch, and it's 1-2. One area I'm sure Joe Carnahan will want to see improvement from his team is fielding-wise. 2 errors already tonight, 12 for the season. They were 9th in fielding at .934 coming into tonight as a team. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Mason Rowell in his first game with the team. Looks at a ball 3 and a full count. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th inning. 2-1 Fort McMurray with the lead here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field in Saskatoon. Barry's on a 3-game winning streak. Fort Mac has lost their first 3 games of the season. This one on the ground towards short. Barry charges, comes up with it, throws it on to first in time to get Rowell. Darcy Barry looks after all 3 ground balls and throws out the runners in each case. Winston Roberts comes on and gets a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 4th inning. No runs, no hits. No Fort McMurray errors. Nobody left on base. Through 4 complete. Fort McMurray Giants 2. Saskatoon Berries 1. You're watching Berries baseball. You're also listening to it on FloCollege. Third pitcher of the night for Joe Carnahan and the Saskatoon Berries here for the top of the 5th inning. Alex Chumrao is into the game, wearing number 30 on the back of his white Berries jersey. He's from Parker, Colorado, coming off his freshman year at West Texas A&M. 6'5", 210-pound right-hander. He'll get the top of the order for the Fort McMurray Giants here in the top of the 5th inning. It means Elijah Oleball, Darcy Barry, and Elijah Cook coming up. Oleball has been on base twice, walked and scored in the first inning, hit by a pitch in the third. Good wheels on him. Chumrow's first pitch is on the outside corner for strike one. Parker, Colorado is his hometown. I'd have to start looking back at my files. Pretty sure the Berries had a guy from Parker, Colorado on last year's team. As there's a pitch outside, ball one. Don't ask me to try and remember off the top of my head. Memory's not bad, but not that good. 1-1 pitch is in for a strike. 1-2. Maybe I'm just imagining it, too. Who knows? Alex Chumrow with a 1-2 count and a pitch coming to Elijah Oliball. He takes something off that one and it bounces in. 2-2. Top of the fifth inning. Down low. And a full count. Lights are on here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. Just after 8 o'clock. Swung on and hit up the middle, and Westland can't come up with it cleanly. Kicks it on into center field. Freeman will come in and get the ball and return it to the infield, but Oliball is holed up at first base. We're going to call that a base hit. They're going to get an error on the second baseman, Westland. So that's error number 3 on the night for the Berries. Shortstop Darcy Berry up to the plate now. First pitch swinging, puts it high in the air into right field. Shades down for the right fielder, Ethan Murdoch. He'll make the catch in medium depth right field for the first out. So one away and a runner on first base, and Elijah Cook, the center fielder, up. He reached on an error in the first inning and struck out in the third. Both those times against the starting pitcher tonight for the... As taking off is Oliball with the first pitch, and Sorensen in the transfer dropped the ball. Oliball with a stolen base on the first pitch ball to Elijah Cook. So Cook now with a runner in scoring position. Chumrow's pitch is fouled off and over top of the VIP zone down the left field line. A 1-1 count. There's warm-up action down the right field line for the Berries once again. A left-hander up. Catch a number here in a moment. Alex Chumrow ready to pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2, 1-2 the count on Elijah Cook. That's Zach Laird out of Indiana State University, who's down the right field line, stirring. Maybe the next band coming in to pitch for the Berries. Fouled back to the screen. Cook staying alive, 1-2. First baseman Matt Rhodes is on deck. Elijah Oliball, the base runner at second for Fort McMurray. They lead 2-1 here in the top of the fifth inning. 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. Elijah Cook goes down for the second time on strikes tonight, and there's 2 away. So Matt Rhodes, the first baseman, up. He's 0 for 2, grounded out and flown out in his 2 previous plate appearances. On the outside corner, strike one from Alex Chumrao. Good location there from the right-hander. Hit the outside corner at the knees consistently, you're going to do well. Fouled off and out of play. Quickly ahead of the hitter Rhodes, 0-2. Chumrao takes the signal from catcher Balin Sorensen, ready to throw 0-2 pitch. Up high, ball one. Off the glove of Sorensen, but he's quickly able to get on it. Off to his left. Still in the home plate area, sandy area. Holds Olabal, or Olabal, I should say, at second base. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alex Chumrao ready to go again. 1-2 pitch. Just low. Ball 2. That was close. The home plate umpires in the stands behind home plate didn't really react the way they normally do. Maybe it's early in the season for them. 2-2 the count. This one's lifted in the air to left field. Zdunek coming on. That'll fall in front of him. Olabal is coming home. The throw home, and they've got him. Peg home Zdunek. A good throw. Sorensen puts the tag on Olabal at home plate for the third out in the top of the 5th inning. A base hit for Rhodes and a play at the plate. And Balin Sorensen slaps on the tag for the third out on Elijah Olabal. And no runs for Fort McMurray in the top of the 5th inning. 1 hit. There was 1 Saskatoon Berry error and 1 runner left on base. Halfway through our game tonight here at the Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field in Saskatoon. It's the Fort McMurray Giants 2 and the Saskatoon Berries 1 as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Mm-hmm. Winston Roberts back out on the mound for the Fort McMurray Giants here in the bottom of the 5th inning. He'll face the 8-9-1 hitters for the Saskatoon Berries. Turner Zdunek, who just made that throw home to cut down Elijah Olabal at home plate to finish off the top of the 5th inning. Roberts' first pitch swinging as Zdunek hits it in the air to center right field. Over the head of the right fielder, Zdunek will make his way to second base as that went off the fence, off of the hop. And a double for Turner Zdunek to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. Right fielder Connor Rainey kind of stood there still. I think he lost the ball as their son beating down in right field. The shadows starting to creep in over top of the building here which we're housed in. Rainey is trying to shield his eyes even though he's got sunglasses on in right field, so tough going for him. As a first pitch to Cam Marshak is a ball. Zdunek with a leadoff double. Marshak with a 1-0 count. Winston Roberts into his second inning in relief for Fort McMurray. 1-0 pitch steps up high, 2-0. Pitch upcoming. Roberts with a long look at second. And that one sails outside to the right-hand hitter, 3-0. Top of the order, Jalen Freeman on deck. And he'll take it for a strike, 3-1. Don't think many guys are going to get the green light early in the season on 3-0 to swing the bat. Although I know that Joe Carnahan will likely do that for guys like Carter Beck and Ethan Menard when they arrive. 3-1 pitches in for a strike. So now it's a full count on Cam Marshak as Winston Roberts trying to come all the way back from a 3-0 count to get an out. Marshak singled his first time up. This one's lined into right field. The right fielder didn't see it again. It lands in front of him. And the runner, Zadunik, did pick up the situation. Rainey is just struggling out there in right field trying to see in towards home plate. A single for Marshak, who scored the run for the Berries in the bottom of the third inning. And now runners on first and third with nobody out for the Berries. And the top of the order for center fielder Jalen Freeman, who's 1 for 2, singled his last time up. Left-hand hitting Freeman against left-hand pitching Winston Roberts. This one on the ground towards second base. And bobbled by the second baseman. Everybody's safe. And a run scores to tie the game up. Zadunik comes home to tie it up. Marshak to second. And Freeman safe at first base. And they're going to decide, they're going to call that an error on the second baseman. Charging on the play was Miles Murphy. He had to make things happen quickly with the speed of Freeman going up the line. But he couldn't come up on it. And so it's 2-2 as that's the first error by Fort McMurray in the game tonight. Now dropping a bunt down. Nicely done. Roberts looked at third first and is able to turn around and throw out Nathan Houston at first base for the first out. A sacrifice that advances Cam Marshak to third base and Jalen Freeman to third. 2-2 tie, one away here. And it's Ethan Murdoch, the right fielder, up. High in the strike zone for a strike to Murdoch, who's 1 for 2. Singled and stole a base in the first inning. Popped out to shortstop in the third. Hit well into left field. Under it and making the catch is Oliball. Sprinting home from third to give the Berries their first lead of the night is Cam Marshak. A sacrifice fly for Ethan Murdoch. Freeman holds at second base, and the Berries have a 3-2 lead. So 2 away. At the plate is Balin Sorensen, the catcher, who's 0 for 2. 2 runs in for the Berries. This one in the air to right. Rainey going back. He's having trouble looking for that one. That one's going to short hop the fence in right field. In to score is Freeman. And Sorensen will stop at second, and the right fielder is struggling mightily with the sun out in right field. 3 balls hit in that direction here in this half inning have resulted in hits and have directly contributed to the 3 runs scored by the Berries as they go up 4-2. 3 runs in for Saskatoon in this inning. And at the plate is Cooper Westland, who's 0 for 2. First pitch from Winston Roberts is up high, ball 1. That's Sorensen's first RBI of the season. It'll feel good for him to get off the schneid. Westland would like to get his first hit of the night. Came in with an above 400 batting average. Roberts with a long hold on the ball. And it's fouled off over top of the first base bleachers, 1-1. One the count on Cooper Westland, Barry's second baseman. First baseman Corey Waters is on deck. On the ground towards shortstop. Darcy Berry up with it. His throw on to first in time, and that retires the side. But a good bottom of the 5th inning for the Saskatoon Berries as they score 3 runs on 3 hits with 1 big Fort McMurray error, and they left 1 runner on base. We have now played 5 innings here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field in Saskatoon, and the Berries have a 4-2 lead on the Fort McMurray Giants as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Back for the top of the 6th inning, and another pitching change for the Saskatoon Berries is coming on for Joe Carnahan is left-hander Zach Laird. Zach Laird will be making his 2nd appearance for the Berries. He pitched an inning to close out the Berries' home opener back on Saturday, the 9-3 win over Regina. Got a 3-up, 3-down inning, including a strikeout back then. So Zach Laird out of Langley, BC, gets the call here in the top of the 6th. He'll see the number 5, 6, and 7 hitters, Solomon Harwood, Nick Save, and Carter Hercoon. Harwood 0 for 2 tonight. Zach Laird coming off his senior year at Indiana State University. Pitch up high, ball 1, the first delivery for Laird. And fouled back to the screen for strike one. 1-1 the count on Solomon Hardwood. Laird's 1-1 pitch. And he held off the swing. 2 balls and a strike. Laird comes set. 2-1 pitch, curveball. That's outside. 3-1. Zach Laird listed at 5'7" and 150 pounds. 3-1 pitch. On the inside corner, strike 2. Harwood threw his bat aside, thinking he had himself a walk, and immediately tapped his chest and said, "My bad," apologizing to home plate umpire Scott Mills. He doesn't want to show him up, but he thought that it was inside. Now the 3-2 pitch. This one's hit through the right side between first and second baseman and into right field. And Harwood has the 3rd hit of the night for the Fort McMurray Giants as they trail 4-2, but get the leadoff man on here in the top of the 6th inning. It brings up the catcher, Nick Save. Save 0 for 2. Popped out. And reached on a pass ball after striking out his last time up. Low and inside from Zach Laird, ball 1. Carter Hercoon on deck, the Fort McMurray 3rd baseman. Laird has him picked up, but his throw is a little wayward. If he puts that where Waters can take it right in front of him, they had him dead to rights because he was moving towards second base. But he gets a reprieve. Laird had him picked off. 1-0 pitch. Hit in the air to right field. Let's see how the Barries right fielder Murdoch handles it. He does. Makes the catch, and scrambling back and diving back into first base is Solomon Harwood. Savi flies out to right field, and Carter Hercoon coming up. 0 for 2, grounded out a couple of times, reached on a fielder's choice his last time up, and scored a run back in the 4th inning. We're in the top of the 6th here tonight. 4-2, Saskatoon Barries leading the Fort McMurray Giants. Zach Laird on. He'll throw on over and check on Harwood at first. Harwood may not be quite so anxious to wander off the base now. Barely a lead right now. Pitch up high to Hercoon, ball 1. Second baseman Miles Murphy is on deck. Laird's pitch. Check swing, called strike. 1-1. This one's almost given. Here's a fly ball, going to slice foul and actually out of play down the right field side. 1-2. On the Jumbotron, it says that Zach's favorite ballpark food is hot dogs. That could go for almost everybody. Could probably put that down for every player. 1-2 pitch coming up from Zach Laird to Carter Hercoon. Again fouled off and out of play down the right field side. off the batting cage down there here at the Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. 1-2, the count remains. Now a throw back over it on Harwood, and Waters had to scramble to make sure he kept that in front of him. One and two the count on Carter Hercoon here in the top of the 6th inning. Zach Laird working hard. Curveball called, strike 3. A nice hook thrown by the lefty to the right-handed hitter. Froze him. And there's 2 away, and it brings up second baseman Miles Murphy, who's 1 for 2, singled and stole a base his last time up in the 4th inning. Drove in a run as well. Grounded out to second base his first time up. Pitch up high to Murphy is ball 1. We'll see if there's going to be action down the right field line in the Berries bullpen next half inning while they're at bat. Laird with a fastball up high, 2-0. Laird ready to go with a 2-0 count. Line drive into right field. Murdoch coming on. He'll go to his knees and make the catch. Ethan Murdoch struggled a little bit with the sun there, but unlike his predecessor or his opposite right fielder, Connor Rainey, on the other side for Fort McMurray, he's able to make plays and makes a good one there to retire the side. No runs for Fort McMurray in the top of the 6th inning. 1 hit. There were no Berries errors and 1 runner left on base. And through 5.5 here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field in Saskatoon, it is the Berries 4 and the Fort McMurray Giants 2. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. New pitcher coming in for Fort McMurray, their 3rd of the night. It'll be Luke Glenn. Luke Glenn, a right-hander out of Niagara University, 6'1", 190 pounds. He'll face Corey Waters, Mason Rowell, and Turner Zadunik for the Berries in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 4-2, Saskatoon with the lead. Waters 1 for 2, singled in the 2nd, grounded out to short in the 4th. See what they get in this right-hander from the Fort McMurray Giants. Swing and a miss. That was a breaking pitch. Waters awkwardly swung at and missed. Lifted in the air to right field. Connor Rainey coming across. This time he feels a little more confident as he makes a catch. And there's one away. Newcomer Mason Rowell up now for the Berries. It'll be his third plate appearance. He singled in the second inning, I should say, and was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double, and then grounded out to shortstop in the fourth. Looks at the first pitch down low, ball one. Be a few guys on this team from Indiana State University. You got the pitcher Zach Laird, you've got Rowell, and of course you'll get Carter Beck, the Berries MVP, when he comes back and rejoins the team tomorrow. 2-0 on Rowell. This is grounded through the middle and up for a base hit. Rowell takes a big turn at first and will come back. 2 hits for him on the day. 1 out, and Turner Zadunik, who started things last half inning in the 5th with a double, lead off and scored. Started the Berries on their 3-run rally that gave them the lead they currently enjoy at 4-2. Looks at the first pitch down low for a ball. Nine hits on the night for the Berries. Throw back over to first to check on Rowell. This one's outside. 2-0 to Turner Zadunik. DH Cam Marshak is on deck. Luke Glenn is the new pitcher, the third one of the night for the Fort McMurray Giants. Two-0 pitch, swung on and missed by Zadunik, strike one. Throw on to first. Oh, just about got him leaning. Good move. Good quick move by the right-hander to first base, Luke Glenn. And Rowell just barely got back ahead of the tag. Rowell goes right back out there with a good lead. Zadunik puts one high in the air into foul territory down the third base side, and unable to track it down is the third baseman, Carter Hercoon. That wind's still out there and still providing problems for fielders on fly balls. North-northwest wind gusting up to 42 kilometers per hour. So instead of an out, it's a strike. 2-2 the count on Turner Zadunik. Luke Glenn at the belt. Swung on and missed. Strike three on the foul tip is what plate umpire Scott Mills says. That's 2 away now for the Berries here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That brings up Cam Marshak, who has 2 hits and has scored twice tonight. Throw on over to check on Rowell. Marshak doubles his hit total for the season tonight through the first 4 games with 2 hits tonight. Swings and misses at the first pitch. Strike one. You get that average up above 200, which will feel a lot better. Luke Glenn ready to go again. 1 strike pitch upcoming to Cam Marshak. Swing and a miss, and he loses the bat. 0-2 the count. No action down the right field line in the Berries bullpen, so unless somebody warmed up that I didn't see, Zach Laird should be coming back out for the top of the 7th inning to pitch for the Berries. 2-strike pitch to Marshak. He lays off of that breaking pitch down low, and it's 1-2. One-two pitch on the ground towards the shortstop Barry. He'll bobble it and throw on to first, and in time he's able to get Marshak by a whisker at first base. Darcy Barry has been very good at shortstop tonight for Fort McMurray. That time he bobbles the ground ball, but is able to recover with a strong throw and gets a favorable call at first base from the umpire Logan Nugent to retire the side. No runs for Saskatoon in the bottom of the 6th inning. On one hit, there were no errors for the Fort McMurray Giants, and one runner left on base. After 6 innings complete, it is the Saskatoon Berries 4 and the Fort McMurray Giants 2. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. That's all right. No. Oh, yeah. Zach Laird back out for the top of the 7th inning for the Saskatoon Berries to pitch. Your totals so far for the night through 6 innings. Saskatoon Berries have 4 runs on 9 hits. They've committed 3 errors and they've left 5 runners on base. And for the Fort McMurray Giants, 2 runs on 3 hits. They've committed 1 error and they've left 6 runners on base. So Zach Laird hoped to start the 7th inning. He'll face the number 9 hitter Connor Rainey, who swings and misses at the first pitch, strike 1. Rainey is struck out and grounded out to shortstop tonight in going 0 for 2. On the inside corner for strike 2 on Rainey. Top of the order after this, Elijah Olebal, the left fielder, and the shortstop Darcy Barry, guaranteed to hit this inning. And we now start to see action down the right field line in the Berries bullpen, as fouled off by Rainey to stay alive at 0-2. Michael Saul is warming up down the right field line. Saul has seen action for the Berries. First couple of games on the road. Swing and a miss on a slow curveball, and strike 3. Second strikeout of the appearance for Zach Laird. 1 away in the top of the 7th inning. Elijah Olebal coming up. He has been on base all 3 times. Walked and scored in the first, hit by a pitch in the 3rd, reached on an error in the 5th inning. Lefty Zach Laird to lefty hitting Olebal, and that one is inside. Olebal turning away from it, ball 1. Bounced in. That nails the umpire, as Balin Sorensen couldn't block it or catch it. Ball 2, 2-0. (4-2) the Berries with the lead in the top of the 7th inning. Looking for their 4th straight win. Volleyball fouls it off to the screen. It's 2-1. Looking to improve to 4-1 on the year. If they can. Got a 2-run lead. Slow curve swung on and foul tipped into the glove of Balin Sorensen. 2-2. What will Laird throw here? Fastball, and not quite a strike, pretty close. Can hear the crowd in behind home plate. Thought that one was strike 3, but they're not the ones who make the decision on that. That's Scott Mills' job, the home plate umpire. He's got a full count here now on Ole Ball. And they're going to appeal at third base, and they'll say no swing. And so a lead-off or a one-out walk, as Ole Ball has been on base all 4 times now. And it'll bring up the shortstop, Darcy Berry. Berry 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Zach Laird looks to keep Ole Ball close. Foul back to the screen. First pitch, strike 1. These same 2 teams will go at it again tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. And of course, we'll be with you on FloCollege for that game. Throw one over to first. Ole Ball back easily. Don't think that's Laird's best move to first base from the left-handed side. But he'll let Ole Ball know that he's thinking about him a little. Up and in, ball 1, 1-1. Again, you'd love to be a lefty with a runner on first base, just because you're looking right at him as you're setting up to throw the pitch. And you know whether he's thinking of going, if he's leaning the one way or the other. Ole Ball's more leaning back towards first base than anything. There's a pitch at the knees and a strike. 1-2 on Darcy Berry. I always wish I was a lefty growing up, just because of that. A throw over to check on Ole Ball from Zach Laird. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Taking off is Ole Ball. This one hit in the air to center field. Shallow center field. Going out is the shortstop Houston. He'll make an over-the-shoulder catch just in front of the center fielder Freeman, who was charging in. Nice play by Houston to make the catch on the fly ball into shallow center field for the second out. And Ole Ball has to hustle on back to first. So 2 away here in the top of the 7th inning. It'll mean the center fielder Elijah Cook, who's obviously a switch hitter, because he's at the right-hand side this time to face the left-hander, Zach Laird. First 3 pitchers for the Berries tonight were right-handers. Now it's Laird, the lefty, and suddenly Elijah Cook's hitting from the right-hand side. And he first pitch swings and hits it high in the air. This is in the infield. Camped under it is Nathan Houston. He'll make the out. And that's it for Fort McMurray in the top of the 7th inning. As we head to the 7th inning stretch, no runs for Fort McMurray in the top of the 7th. No hits. They left one runner on base. No Berries errors. After 6.5, as I say, we're heading for the 7th inning stretch here in Saskatoon. It is the Berries 4 and the Fort McMurray Giants 2. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. Yeah, no, it'll be after the 9th inning is done, and we go to the 60-second break. You can put it up at that time, but I'll let you know.
Just point at it.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard here on a Tuesday night in the Western Canadian Baseball League. 3 other games on the go. In the top of the 6th inning, it is the Regina Red Sox leading the Medicine Hat Mavericks 11-3. The previously unbeaten Mavericks look like they're going to take a loss here tonight. Also in the top of the 6th, Energy City Cactus Rats lead 8-4 over the Sylvan Lake Gulls. That game being played in Spruce Grove, Alberta. And the Lethbridge Bulls, looking for their first win of the year, have a 5-0 lead in Okotoks over the Dogs. That game in the top of the 6th inning as well. As we look here to the bottom of the 7th, and the first pitch from Luke Glenn to Jalen Freeman is outside for ball 1. Top of the order for the Berries here in the bottom of the 7th with a 4-2 lead. Freeman fouls a pitch off and into the parking lot. 1-1. Nathan Houston and Ethan Murdoch also due up this half inning for the Berries. Freeman 1 for 3 tonight. Fouls it back to the screen. 1-2. Scored a run in the 5th inning in the 3-run 5th for the Berries as he reached on an error by the second baseman. 1-2 the count. That one hangs outside. 2-2. We have action down the left field line in the Fort McMurray bullpen, so both bullpens are going right now. Outside to Freeman, full count 3-2. Michael Saul continues to throw down the right field line for the Berries. Likely to come on in the 8th inning. Liam Taft is warming up for Fort McMurray down the left field line. Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Strike 3. Jalen Freeman strikes out. Strikeout number 2 for Luke Glenn in this his 2nd inning of work on the mound for Fort McMurray. So Nathan Houston now coming to the plate. Houston 0 for 2 and with a sacrifice. That sacrifice helped set up a couple of more runs. Hard shot to third, knocked down. The throw on to first will not be in time. Third baseman had to go off of his foot, Carter Hercoon. And they're going to say base hit, I believe, or no? They're saying error, okay. E5, second error of the night for the Fort McMurray Giants. So Houston's on base with one away. And Ethan Murdoch slaps one into right field. That one's slicing towards the corner. On his horse and heading to third is Nathan Houston. He's going to be held up as the throw gets into the infield. It overshot the cutoff man, but the secondary cutoff, the first baseman, Matt Rhodes, with the ball in the infield. And we'll have runners at second and third on the double from Ethan Murdoch, his second hit of the game. So 1 away and 2 out, and we're going to have the Fort McMurray coach come out and have a chat with Luke Glenn, and we may see a pitching change here with a score of 4-2 in the bottom of the 7th inning, 1 out and 2 runners in scoring position. Balin Sorensen, the catcher, is on deck. He doubled and drove in the fourth Berries run back in the 5th inning. Here comes home plate umpire Scott Mills to break things up. I'm going to tell him either you make a move or go back to the bench. No move being made. Just a signal to the infielders. They're going to play in at the edge of the infield grass. Try and cut off a run at the plate. So Sorensen, people say that when you play the infield in, it increases your batting average by about 50 points because you're more likely to find a hole with the infield drawn in than if they're back. As Sorensen swings and fouls off the first pitch into the batting cage down the right field line. Sorensen would love to have 50 extra points on his batting average if he can find a hole here. On the ground up the middle, cut off by the shortstop. He's got no play at home plate, so he has to take the out at first, and that allows the Berries, Nathan Houston, to score from third and make it 5-2. Ethan Murdoch advances to third base. Great play by the shortstop to dive and make the play, and he rolled over and thought he might have a shot at home and realized he didn't. And so Darcy Berry elects to get a sure out, the second out, here in the bottom of the 7th inning. It'll bring up second baseman Cooper Westland as the Berries get their 5th run of the game. Slow curve from Luke Glenn is in for a strike to Westland. Swing and a miss from Westland. 0-2. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Cooper Westland out of the University of Nebraska at Omaha just completed his junior year. Good glove, has had a good bat through the first 4 games. Checks his swing, and they're going to say no, he went. Strikes out, and that's the end of the inning. Couple of strikeouts for Luke Glenn in the bottom of the 7th, but the Berries do get an insurance run. Make it 5-2 as they score a run on 1 hit. There was 1 Fort McMurray error and runner left on base. Through 7 complete. It is the Saskatoon Berries 5, the Fort McMurray Giants 2 as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege.
So behind and getting everything ready, and you rush to do stuff.
Well, yeah, things get missed. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that happens. What do you do?
Yeah, no, it's
As soon as I see it unfreeze, I get on it.
yeah, it's
But
okay.
sometimes it's jittery,
You
eh?
can't do much about it. Yes, it is what it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool night out there.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Again, going to be the same tomorrow, too, unfortunately.
Then we should make it.
Here we go with the top of the 8th inning and another pitching change for the Saskatoon Berries after 2 innings of work from Zach Laird. And it is indeed going to be Michael Saul coming on to pitch for the Berries. He'll be the 5th pitcher being sent out by head coach Joe Carnahan tonight. Pitchers for the Berries have done a good job. Their team ERA coming into tonight was 3.09, which is second best in the WCBL. Michael Saul pitched in one previous game already this year out of the first 4. Omaha, Nebraska product, comes out of the University of Nebraska. Pitched in the 8-5 win back on Friday night in Moose Jaw, an inning and 2/3, allowed an unearned run with 4 strikeouts, 2 walks, and pours in a strike to the first man he faces, first baseman Matt Rhodes, to lead off the top of the 8th inning. Fouled off at the plate. Quickly up 0-2 on Rhodes is Michael Saul. And down the right field line, Clay Mixon is starting to warm up. In there for strike 3 called. 1 away in the top of the 8th. DH Solomon Harwood makes his way to the plate. He had a single his last time up. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Swung on and missed with the first pitch, strike 1. That's what you want to see out of your high leverage guys out of the bullpen. Come in and throw strikes. Pound the zone as he does again there with a fastball, 0-2. Shakes off a sign from Balin Sorensen, the catcher. Throws fastball, and that's up high, ball 1. Not that high. Close. The behind the home plate umpires in the stands thought it was strike 3. This time it's hit in the air to center field. Loping over a few steps to his left to make the catch is Jamal Freeman, and there's 2 away. So now it's the catcher, Nick Save. 0 for 3 tonight. Reached after he struck out, and the ball got away from Balin Sorensen to the screen. That was back in the 4th inning. Curve ball from Saul is outside, ball 1. This is hit in the air to left field. Going back, Zadunik. That's going to be off the wall on one hop. Zadunik will take it there and make its way back into the infield, but that'll be a stand-up double for Nick Save. So Fort McMurray with a runner on second and 2 away here in the top of the 8th inning brings up the number 7 hitter, Carter Hercoon. He's 0 for 3. Scored a run, though, after reaching on a fielder's choice back in the 4th inning. Fort McMurray got the first run of the ball game back in the top of the 1st inning. The Berries tied it up in the bottom of the 3rd. When Hercoon scored back in the top of the 4th, it gave them another lead at 2-1, but the Berries scored 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Went up 4-2 and just added another run in the bottom of the 7th to get to where we're at right now at 5-2. 1-0 pitch to Hercoon. Curveball in for a strike. 1-1 the count. Miles Murphy, the second baseman, hoping to get a crack at bat this half inning. Fastball in for a strike. Hercoon stares skyward and says, no, 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 no. Didn't like that call, but as public address announcer Simon Hyatt here at the ballpark trying to get the crowd into it. 1-2 pitch. This is looped into right field and will get down for a base hit. Turning third and coming for home is the catcher, Nick Save. And it'll be 5-3 now as back-to-back hits for Fort McMurray with 2 out here in the top of the 8th inning. Makes it 5-3. And so now Miles Murphy will get a turn at the plate. Murphy 1 for 3, singled and stole a base in the 4th inning. Arch is back from the first pitch inside, ball 1. Fouled back into the screen, 1-1. Murphy represents the tying run here at the plate, as the game now at 2 runs. A 2-run lead for the Saskatoon Berries over the Fort McMurray Giants. Fastball on the inside corner, strike 2. Saul was in this position last batter, up 1-2. Threw something off speed, and it got looped into right field for a run-scoring single. Let's see him. Well, he tried it again. This one's fouled off out of play over top of the first base bleachers. Murphy stays alive at 1-2. If it were me, I'd give him the gas. I don't think he can catch up to the fastball, but that's just me. 1-2, pitch upcoming. He threw him the gas, but it was up high, 2-2. Michael Saul trying to get that 3rd out here in the top of the 8th inning and get the Berries back onto the bats. This one's flared into left field, but Turner Zadunik is there. He'll make the catch, and that's the inning. Fort McMurray gets a run back on 2 hits. No Berries errors, 1 runner left on base. 7.5 in the books here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. It is the Berries 5 and the Fort McMurray Giants 3 as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. I don't have to text you. Attendance? Oh, you did? Well, look at you. Thank you. New pitcher for Fort McMurray coming on here in the bottom of the 8th inning is right-hander Liam Taft out of Allen Hancock Community College. 6'3", 210-pounder. He will face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for the Saskatoon Berries, Corey Waters, Mason Rowell, and Turner Zadunik. Couple of hits for Fort McMurray that last inning. Give them 5 on the game. They've left 8 runners on base so far tonight. Berries have 10 hits tonight. They've committed 3 errors. They've left 6 on base. Corey Waters, 1 for 3 tonight, singled his first time up. The first pitch is away, ball 1. Let's see what Liam Taft has in the arsenal. Fastball in for a strike. One pitch upcoming to Corey Waters. Down low, ball 2. 2-1. Again, these same 2 teams will play tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field. There's another pitch down low. 3-1 the count on Waters. Mason Ruel, newcomer in his first game. Third baseman is on deck. This is bounced to Hopper, fielded at third. And the throw is up high, forcing the first baseman off the bag. Rhodes had to leap up in the air to take the throw, and so Waters is on the throwing error by the third baseman, Carter Hercoon. So Roel comes to the plate. He has a couple of singles tonight and 3 plate appearances. Wearing number 24 for the Berries. Pitch down low, ball 1. Decent fastball from Liam Taft. Let's see if he can get it in the strike zone. On the ground to short. Barry quickly shuttles it to second for 1. On to first. In time, double play. And definitely Darcy Barry has been very effective tonight at the shortstop position, as he starts that 6-4-3 double play that leads to 2 outs. And now it'll be the left fielder, Turner Zadunik. The first pitch is outside and gets away from the catcher, ball 1. Zadunik, 1 for 3, doubled and scored to lead off the 3-run bottom of the 5th inning that got the Berries back out in front for the first time in the game. Down low, ball 2. DH Cam Marshak on deck. And low again, ball 3. 3-0 the count on Zadunik. And outside, a 4-pitch walk. So Cam Marshak, the number 9 hitter, comes up. 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Bottom 2 batters in the order for the Berries tonight have accounted for 3 of the 5 runs scored. First pitch fastball in for a strike to Marshak from right-hander Liam Taft. On the ground up the middle, it'll get through into center field. And holding his ground at second base is Zadunik. Barry just about caught that one in behind the bag with the dive, but it got through. Marshak with 3 hits on the night. Now back to the top of the order, and Jalen Freeman, who's 1 for 4 and has a run scored. Another hit, drive in another run or 2 would be big here for the Berries, heading to the bottom of the 9th. Or to the top of the 9th, I should say. Fouled off into the Fort McMurray dugout. Strike 1. That'll have some guys scrambling down there. One strike on Jalen Freeman. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Liam Taft, on the other hand, as much as Freeman would love to extend the lead, Taft, of course, on the other side, wants to stop any kind of potential bleeding right here. 2-strike pitch. Fouled out of play. Freeman stays alive at 0-2. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th inning, the number 9 hitter Connor Rainey is due up, and then the top of the order for Fort McMurray. Left fielder Elijah Olebal and shortstop Darcy Berry against likely, coming into the ball game, Clay Mixon, who's finished his warm-up tosses down the right field line in the Berries bullpen. 2-strike pitch to Freeman. Bounced in. Good block by the catcher, Save. 1-2 the count. Turner Zadunik at second base. Cam Marshak at first. 2 away. 1-2. Liam Taft about to deliver the pitch. On the ground towards third. Fielded, and they tagged out the runner, I believe, at third base, and they got him anyway at first, they say. They didn't tag the runner at third. Going to third, I don't believe. It's the runner at first that they threw out. So that is the end of the inning nonetheless, as 2 runners left on base with 1 hit for the Berries. 1 error committed by Fort McMurray in the bottom of the 8th inning, and 2 runners left on base. So after 8 complete, it is the Saskatoon Berries 5, the Fort McMurray Giants 3. We head to the top of the 9th as you're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege. So top of the 9th inning, new pitcher for the Berries, as we expected. It is Clay Mixon coming in for his 2nd appearance of the year. Clay Mixon pitched in the Berries' home opener. Back on Saturday, the 9-3 win over Regina, an inning and a third, gave up 1 hit and struck out 4. Mixon, coming off his freshman year at Dallas College, Brookhaven, out of Baytown, Texas, a 6'2", 220-pound right-hander, and he will get a pinch hitter to face him first. It is Gianluca Montanaro, right-handed hitter who's normally a catcher, and he looks at the first pitch down low for a ball. (5-3) Berries with the lead. Pitch in for a strike, 1-1. Once Montanaro is done, it's the top of the order for Fort McMurray. On the ground, fielded at third by Roel. The throw on to first, good arm to get Montanaro in time, and that's 1 away. Elijah Olebal is up now. He's been on base all 4 times tonight. Scored the opening run of the game back in the top of the 1st inning. He's walked twice, hit by a pitch, and reached on an error. He's 0 for 1 officially. He also has a stolen base to his credit. Check swing foul towards the Fort McMurray dugout. Strike one. Your official attendance tonight is 1,120. Check swing, and they're going to call that a strike. Home plate umpire Scott Mills says that is enough of a swing to strike two. So quickly, two strikes on Oleball for Clay Mixon, who delivers again. And that one gets away from Sorensen to the backstop. 1-2. Mixon throws hard. 1-2 pitch coming. Called strike three. 2 away. And all that's left for the Berries is to get Darcy Berry out to win another ball game. Barry 0 for 3 with a walk. Pitch up and in on Darcy Berry, ball one. It's a curved ball and it sailed outside, 2-0. Was up high a little too. Mixon down 2-0 to Darcy Berry. Line shot but foul. It's got some fans scurrying away out of its way. 2-1 the count. Clay Mixon ready to go again. Curve ball upside, 3-1. Elijah Cook on deck, hoping to get a shot again. Three-one pitch. This one is swung on and lifted foul, out of play into the parking lot. Full count. 5-3 Berries with the lead. Top of the ninth, 2 out, full count on Darcy Berry. Clay Mixon. This one's hit in the air to left field. Zadunik ranging back. Freeman going back. This one is at the wall and off the wall. Freeman will pick it up. Berry is hustling for third. The throw comes into third base, but not in time. And Darcy Berry with a triple off the left center field fence keeps Fort McMurray alive in this ball game, as Elijah Cook now will come up with 2 out and a runner on third, and he represents the tying run. Cook will go back to batting left to face the right-hander. On the roster sheet, he's listed as a right-handed hitter only, but obviously he hits left, so he's a switch hitter. Clay Mixon now has to bear down and get a third out after getting the first 2. Serves up a triple to Darcy Berry, and we've got ourselves a little bit of drama here all of a sudden. Swing and a miss at the first pitch by Cook, strike one. Elijah Cook is 0 for 4 tonight, reached on an error in the first inning. But otherwise, that is it. Swing and a miss again, strike 2. One more strike for Clay Mixon to finish things off. He was in that situation to the last batter as well, with 2 strikes. And it's fouled back as Cook stays alive. Matt Rhodes is on deck. 2-strike pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that's the ball game. 4 straight wins for the Saskatoon Berries. 4-1 for the season. They defeat the Fort McMurray Giants tonight by a final score of 5-3. As the celebration out on the field for the Giants, as they hand the Fort McMurray Giants their 4th loss in as many games this season. We'll have the final totals for you momentarily after a timeout. 5-3 is the final score for the Saskatoon Berries over the Fort McMurray Giants. You're watching Berries baseball on FloCollege.
Do I put this on first?
You can put it on now, yeah?
So once this stops, this is on there, and then you continue.
Mm-hmm. So back to wrap things up from here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field in Saskatoon. Your final totals for tonight for the Saskatoon Berries: 5 runs on 11 hits. They committed 3 errors and they left 8 runners on base. For the Fort McMurray Giants, they scored 3 runs on 7 hits. They committed 3 errors. They left 9 runners on base. The winning pitcher tonight for the Saskatoon Berries, as they scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning to take over the lead. And so that makes Alex Chumrao the winning pitcher, as he was the one who was able to finish off the top of the 5th inning before giving way to Zach Laird. Clay Mixon gets the save, and the losing pitcher is Winston Roberts for the Fort McMurray Giants. Again, the Berries with the 3-run bottom of the 5th inning to overcome a 2-1 deficit at the time, and they went on to the victory. Turner Zadunik with a key leadoff double scored a run. Cam Marshak 3 for 4 tonight and scored a couple of runs as well for the Berries as they win their 4th straight game. They're 4-1 on the year and 3-0 here at home. For the Fort McMurray Giants, 0-4 for the season. Obviously 4 straight losses, and that's their first game on the road this season. They are 0-1 away from Fort McMurray. The attendance tonight, 1,120. The game took 2 hours and 30 minutes to play. Your final tonight is the Saskatoon Berries 5 and the Fort McMurray Giants 3. Same teams play again tomorrow night here at the Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field at 7 o'clock, and we'll be with you for it here on FloCollege. So until tomorrow night, on behalf of all of the staff at FloCollege, all the staff here at the Saskatoon Berries, I'm Les Lazaruk. We look forward to talking with you again tomorrow night from here at Next Gen Patch at Cairns Field, the Berries and the Fort McMurray Giants. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening.